This year we're building a new house back home. When my mom called to ask if I'd be home for the holidays, I suddenly got all dramatic and pretended to be bummed out, saying I wasn't coming. Told her my two bosses wanted me to work late. On the other end she was quiet and then said, "Oh, I just fixed up your new room for you. The blankets are all fluffy from drying outside. Was hoping you'd come back, but work comes first. Then just make sure you eat well out there. And don't be stingy with yourself, okay?" After hanging up, I didn't feel guilty as I kept packing. Out of the corner of my eye I saw that big 5-foot plush bear at the foot of the bed. I paused for a sec, and shoved it into my suitcase too. Before I knew it, both suitcases were stuffed to the brim. Took a high-speed train, then a bus, then another bus. After over 10 hours of traveling, I was standing at the village entrance all dusty and tired. My mom is probably making zongzi right now. I'll just pop up in front of her like I dropped from the sky, and yell out I'm back. That'll definitely freak her out. Thinking about her surprised and happy face, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. The closer I got to home, the less I felt like laughing. Can someone tell me what's up with those two familiar mud huts? Aren't we building a new house? Is it not on the old lot? My parents are a trip. When I was little, all the young people from every family went to work in the city. But my parents just wouldn't go. Said they had to stay home to take care of Grandpa. Grandpa kept saying he didn't need help. Told them to go earn money for the family. But they wouldn't budge. When we pushed them they'd just say, "You really want your two kids to be left behind?" Later Grandpa passed away, and my parents doubled down on staying in the village. Said they had to stay home and take care of me and my brother. Even when we started middle school in town, and lived at the dorm 6 days a week. And then later, they hit 40, and got too old. The city didn't want them anymore. In the countryside just scraping by on a few skinny fields. No matter how careful they were, it was barely enough to eat. So when other families made money and built houses back in the village, we were still living in the mud hut my grandpa built back in the day. My dad joked that education kept us poor. But honestly, my brother and I both had to rely on student loans. After graduation, I suggested we fix up the house. My dad puffed on his pipe and shut it down. "Build it now. When your brother gets married, we'd have to do it again. What's the point of wasting that money? So just send me $1,500 a month. I'll save it up. And later, I'll build you a fancy country villa." I nodded and agreed. But I had to correct him. "Dad, it's not villa. That word is pronounced villa." He took a long drag on his pipe, laughed and said I thought I was so smart from a few years of school, bossing him around now. Later he died of lung cancer. To the end he lived in that drafty mud house with cracks everywhere. After I got over the grief, I begged my mom to use the money to fix up the house. I tried to talk her into it. "Don't you want to live in a brick house for once? With clean windows and bright rooms? Not like that mud house, where you gotta tiptoe around, or you'll choke on dust." But my mom aimed high. She said these days all the smart folks buy houses in the city. "You're one of the top students in our village. Whether we settle in the city for life, is all on you." I stayed quiet. Then I tried to calm myself down. He's been stuck in this backwater village his whole life. He probably doesn't know city house prices, how tough it is to settle down in the city. He told me to send $3,000 every month for expenses, and I'd save the rest. Then we'd buy a big house in the city. This time I played it smart. I only sent him $800 a month. Living in the village doesn't cost much. I take care of all the doctor visits and meds. $800 is enough to live on. He kicked up a fuss. But he's far away and I had the cart. If he pushed too hard, he wouldn't even get $800. So after a few blow-ups, he backed off. Until last New Year, I casually mentioned I'd saved up 300 grand. Enough to buy a small apartment. He said, "Big girl. Mom thought it over. Let's just build a house in the village. Everyone else has a 4 or 5-story standalone. Our house is made of mud. The poverty relief office has come knocking a bunch of times. It just looks bad. People are gossiping that our family is lazy. Can't even afford to build a house. So in the city 300 grand would only cover a down payment. But in the village it's enough for a 3-story house. You always wanted your own place, right? Once it's done, you get the 3rd floor. Your dad takes the 2nd, and I'll stay on the 1st. Each of us gets a floor." I was hooked. So I sent him the 300 grand. For the whole year, whenever my boss pushed me to the edge, I'd go back and read our chat messages, wondering how the new house was coming along. Did they use the tile pattern I picked? Did they build the bay window like I want? I'd think about moving back home, getting a 9-to-5 government job. And those thoughts would give me energy. Now looking at this mud house I've lived in for 28 years. Something flashed through my mind. My heart was pounding like thunder. When I saw my mom squatting at the yard gate making zong, the pounding stopped. I heard my own shaky voice. Mom. She jumped up in surprise, wiped her hands on her apron and came over. I thought you were working overtime. Why do you look so skinny? Why didn't you let me know? And you brought so much stuff. Always wasting money. Your hands are too loose with cash. I told you to let me save it for you. She kept rambling. But her worry was real. Mom. Where's our new house? Why aren't you making zongzi there? I held back the tears, cutting off her chattering. Is there a reason? Like you can't make zongzi in the new house? Or the stove isn't ready yet, so you gotta do it in the old one. Anyway, the new house exists. Right. I looked at her full of hope. But the next moment my hope crashed. She said, what dream are you living in? 300 grand can build a 3-story house. At best we can patch up this old one, or put up a single-story brick house. What's so fun about that? Still can't compare to others. My tears said they fell. Then why lie about building a new house? June 20th. You said you didn't have enough cash. Couldn't put a bathroom on the 3rd floor. I sent you 30,000. September 8th. You said the tiles I picked were too pricey. The budget was tight. I sent you another 20 grand. December 10th. You said the curtains I wanted weren't in town. I said I'd order them online and ship them back. Now you're saying all that was just me dreaming. Why did you lie to me? In the end, I screamed my lungs out. Slap. My face stung like crazy. I stared at him in disbelief. He lied to me. And hit me too. Facing my angry look, my mom pulled her hand back shakily, her voice trembling. What are you making a scene for? Aren't you embarrassed? Get inside now. I looked up. Sure enough, the neighbors on both sides poked their heads out. Under the woods. Whispering secrets. Talking inside versus talking outside. What's the difference? Folks can not only hear you, but see you too. I shot back sarcastically. He froze for a second, silently helping Lin with the luggage. That big suitcase from 30 village made him look even smaller and skinnier. Villagers love to ride the high horse and kick the low dog. Ever since Azua Lin 6 village got upgraded with fancy new buildings. My family's rundown shack with holes in the walls sits right in the middle. There is zero privacy around here. They'd toss their junk onto our roof all the time. Sometimes it'd even punch a hole through it. Every time that happened, my mom would call me up to whine. Big yeah. You've made it big. When you gonna take me out to live the good life? Your mom can't stand another day. In this god-forsaken village. He's been putting up with it his whole life. I worked my butt off. Overtime and more overtime. $9.96 was the standard. I took on 3 jobs at once. Just to give him a safe and cozy home. But in the end, he actually lied to me. Why? He mumbled sheepishly. Mum thought about it. Building a house in the village just ain't worth it. Better to live in the city. But you were so into the idea. I didn't want to ruin the mood. Figured you'd forget about it after a while. Didn't think you'd call me asking about the house right away. Every call it's about the house. Mom's never lied in her life. Once I started I couldn't keep it up. I just couldn't help it. My mom stood there staring at the fire. Tossing logs into the stove one by one. Since this is where we are, who's to blame? Guess I can only blame myself for coming home out of the blue. I really want to know. If I hadn't lied to him about not coming home, how would he have covered this one up? If you don't love me then fine. Just give me the money. I'll keep it myself. My mom opened her mouth but said nothing. The room went dead quiet. Only the fire hissing and crackling in the stove. The roar of a motorcycle broke the creepy silence. My mom's face changed. She suddenly looked flustered. A guy in full riding gear. Long legs straddling the bike. Whistling at me. He took off his helmet, revealing this awesome blonde hair. Then shook his head like from TV. Yo. Sis. You're back. He frowned. Mom. Did you get sand in your eyes? My mom who was making face. Her expression twisted instantly. I stepped up and gently touched the bike. How do I even describe this motorcycle? Sleek and crazy cool. I'd only seen one in a coworker's friend's post. What's it called? Can't remember. Just knew the price was insane. Easy now. Don't touch it. It's way too much. I'm telling you. Oh yeah. How expensive is it? I asked softly. Expensive my butt. He borrowed it from someone. My mom said. Borrowed it for under 20 grand. My brother said. They both spoke at the same time, then stared at each other. My mom couldn't help but punch him. He winced in pain. When you're speechless, you really just laugh. I laughed. Laughed till tears came out. Me making 12 grand a month, even thinking twice about a $2 bike ride. Skip it if I can. And tell myself it's just exercise. But my brother, midnight youth, could drop 20 grand on a bike without blinking. That 20 out of the 30 grand. That's the one, huh? I stared with my clueless innocent eyes, mumbling, no clue what you're talking about. Every time you come back you're all sarcastic. I ignored him. Just looked at my mom quietly. He just threw it out there, like whatever. Now all the young guys are into this stuff. Mom just doesn't get what's so great about it. But if everyone else has it, then Xianzhong has to have it too. Otherwise how's he gonna find a girlfriend? Besides, in this village everyone has the sister supporting the brother thing. You're the only one holding on to every penny. I just can't with you. What can I do when I'm useless? He mumbled under his breath. If I could have had more kids, it would just cost a bit more, and I'd be at your mercy. My hand froze on the bike handle. When I was 10, I was throwing a fit for some sugar-coated hawthorns. But we were so broke it was ridiculous. So he had to go up the mountain to pick wild berries and make them himself. On the way down he slipped on some loose rocks and lost the baby after 4 months. It messed up his body. He couldn't have any more kids. Over the years, whenever I acted up, he'd throw that in my face. Mom doesn't blame you. You were just a kid and didn't know better. Every word was all about not blaming me. But hearing that as a little kid, I felt so guilty. In the village, having another kid is just another pair of chopsticks. But they're real labor. And me being a greedy eater cost my family big time. When I grew up, I heard the villagers gossiping, saying that baby was a girl. He didn't want it anyway. But whether he wanted it or not, because of me, he lost the chance to be a mom again. That's the truth. I gotta own it. So I always give him whatever he asks for. It's being filial. And making amends. But now touching the smooth motorcycle, I can almost hear little me from back then asking, is that enough? Should be enough by now. What about the remaining 10 grand? Hand it over. I cut him off. Didn't apologize, like I usually would. He was stunned. I never knew my mom had acting chops like a national star. He starts beating his chest and stomping, bringing up my dead dad. One moment he's talking about how hard his life was after marrying my mom. Next he's saying Grandpa didn't drown me when I was little. It was only because he begged on his knees that I got saved. Then he's saying he scrimped and saved to put me through school. Anyway, if I insist on getting that 100 grand back, then I deserve to get struck by lightning. It would be pushing him to his death. The neighbors are gossiping by the wall outside, loud enough for us to hear. Auntie Zhang says, this kid needs a good beating. Hey, redo that last part you just said. It sounds different from last time. They're cocky and unafraid. They don't care if we hear. They even want us to hear. Mom wipes away her tears and lowers her voice. It's all your fault. Asking for money from home during the new year. Is that honorable? I turn to look at the one benefiting from all this. He's happily playing his game. Hey Chen Fei. You think so too, right? I snatch his phone away. Hey. What are you doing? I was about to win. He looks pissed. If you want to fight, don't drag me into it. So annoying. He reaches for his phone. I hide it behind my back. Answer me first. The rest of that 100 grand. Don't you think Mom should give it back? He paused for a sec. Then spoke up. We're all family. You gave the money to Mom. So it's hers now. She can spend it however she wants. That 30 grand was from Mom to me. And I blew it all. But I don't owe you a thing. So don't dump your crap on me. I was gripping my phone tight, tasting blood in my mouth. Before I knew it, I'd bitten my lip raw. Why'd you even come back? You've torn this whole family apart. Just give him back his phone. Mom lunged at me swinging. I dodged to the side. And she tripped with a thud, clutching her leg and whining. I felt low, rushed over to help her up. Mom, you okay? With tears in her eyes she said, Mike, I can count on you from now on. Everything I do is for your sake. Mike scratched his head annoyed. Don't say that. Every time you hand me some cash, you act like I'm your lifeline. Let me be clear. I can't handle that. It's way too much pressure. Besides, my sis is way more capable than me. I laughed bitterly. Mom got pissed. What are you so smug about? Mike's just starting out. He'll stand on his own soon enough. Don't think you're my only option. That made Mom even madder. I wasted my time raising you. Those sisters from the Chen family near the village tree. Everyone in the village knows they bought in the city. So, what? They're just a struggling family business. With land up in the hills, each of them built a 6-story house. He just kept rambling on. Not seeing anything wrong with that. Mom. That's enough now. You're getting out of line. Mike rarely snapped at him like that. He shut his mouth. My phone buzzed a few times. I looked down at it. And a bunch of messages popped up. Big sis. Heard you're back. Didn't you say you had to work late? You must miss me a lot. Wink, wink, wink. Wait up. I'll come find you tomorrow. We can hit up the town for New Year's Eve. Kiss. 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 I raised an eyebrow. Big sis, this is me. But this is Zhang Xianzong's phone. Right then. He rushed over and snatched the phone. I'm going to bed now. Aren't you embarrassed? Just keep fighting. Every New Year it's the same old crap. So annoying. Why did you have to come back? My mom's gonna save me some food. You walk in and start arguing. Just eat already. Don't complain about your stomach later. I don't want to hear it. I ate in silence. My heart was a mess. Saying he loves me. But it doesn't really feel like it. Saying he doesn't love me. But the rice in the bowl is still warm. But I still feel upset. He kept blabbing. Tears dropped one by one into the bowl. But when I saw the bed piled with stuff and the musty blanket, that little warmth vanished real quick. He even lied about our next life. It clearly wasn't aired out. How many true things does he even say? I sighed. Opened my suitcase. Inside was a singing music box. A shiny wind chime. A 5-foot teddy bear. I lugged them all. Through the insane spring festival crowd for over 1,000 miles. I was so excited I couldn't sleep on the way. I'd imagined them in a corner of our new home so many times. Never thought they wouldn't even get out of the suitcase. I pulled up the booking app and changed my return ticket from the 6th to the 1st. Staying at home like this. Might as well go back to work overtime. At least overtime pays the bills. Home just stresses me out. Back then I had no clue. I wouldn't even make it for New Year's Eve. The sky was barely light. When my mom's chicken rant woke me up. Every single break. My mom always stood by the window at 6 sharp yelling at the chickens. Yelling at the dogs. Yelling at everything. I complained once. Told him to keep it down. But he pouted and whined. What? I can't even talk in my own house. You guys just scroll on your phones or sleep. I'm stuck chatting with the cats and dogs. After a while I got used to it. When he saw me up, he rubbed his back and nodded toward the yard. Go grab a smoke, quick. Then help me chop that pile of wood. You finally get a break. And can't even get up early to help out. He rambled on like nothing was wrong. Like yesterday's fight never happened. That's my mom's strong suit. She forgets super fast. Nothing too big, except she never forgives sleeping in. She's ridiculously easygoing. Where's Zach? Every time I ask for help you go looking for him. He's got plenty to do for the offerings today. Let him sleep in a bit. So-called offerings. Just mean bowing, pouring drinks and burning paper. The tough grind reserved for men. As for the women, they take on the grunt work like feeding pigs, chickens, chopping wood and cooking. Since I was 10, chopping wood on New Year's Eve has been my thing. I grabbed the axe without a word. Crack. The log split right down the middle. After 5 solid swings, some of the anger finally faded. Just as I went for the 6th one, someone hugged me from behind. A man's voice all smooth and Babe. It sent chills down my spine. I swung the axe around, threw it backward. Caught off guard. The guy stumbled back. Hit the ground. He spat out the cigarette butt. Stop yelling at me. Hey, don't get all worked up. It's me. Dark skin. Small eyes. Leather jacket, leather shoes, loud pants. I gave him a good once over. The axe is pressed flat against his chest. Who are you? You're trying to pull a fast one on me. He blinked. Then it hit him. Bro, is there really that big a difference between me and my photo? Heh. Hey, don't blame me. It's that beauty filter on my phone. Don't I look more manly in person? You look way better in person than your pics too. Man, I hit the jackpot. Heh. I ask you. Who are you? I cut him off mid-rant. Bro, hey. My younger brother came rushing out of the house all fired up. Sis. What are you doing? Put the axe down off my bro now. Mom pulls me aside and starts whispering. After the new year. You'll be 30 in Chinese reckoning. That's an old maid. You haven't even landed a boyfriend yet. Mom was thinking. Let's find you a local boy we know the background of. This here Hui. He's one of the best earners in the whole area. The guy is only 40 this year. A real young achiever. His family's orchard. They said he sold everything to Americans. They don't care you're a bit older. They just like how you look, and that you're smart. So your kids will be smart too, he said. After getting married you'll be in charge. Forget a 3-story house. Even if you wanted 30 stories. It's just one word away. I cut off my mom's nagging. The 40-year-old orchard owner. Last name Lee. If I remember right. He's the guy in the village who beat his wife 4 times in 5 years. He was pretty harsh. He paused for a second. Then patted my hand. That's just jealous people making up rumors about his success. He only officially had one wedding banquet. The other 3 were just getting the marriage certificate, but no banquet. So the ancestors wouldn't recognize it. If you think about it, that's just a breakup, not a divorce. Every family has its arguments. How does that turn into domestic violence? Besides, if he really were like that, the Americans wouldn't buy his fruit. The TV said, Americans hate wife beaters the most. He explained with a big smirk. Sunlight sneaked through the kitchen window, crawled into the corners of his eyes, leaving tiny wrinkles behind. Something flickered in the light and shadow. He let out a sigh. Forget it. I wiped my eyes with my hand. Weird. Why am I tearing up? Logically, I should be crying my heart out right now. After a long pause, I heard my own steady and clear voice. Mom, got it. He's just not right for me. Oh, you kid. You only met him once. How can you know he's not right? At least go out for a meal and chat. He's offering $50,000 as a bride price. In this whole area only my girl is worth that much. He puffed up his chest like a proud rooster. Getting all worked up, tiny bubbles of spit gathered at the corners of his mouth, shining in the light. I looked at him and said it calmly word by word. I told you. We just don't fit. Maybe he'd never seen me this serious before. He chickened out, with a little fear in his eyes. I let go of his hand, turned around and walked out of the room. In the living room, Zhang Xianzong and Li Hui were chatting it up. When he saw me come out, Li Hui jumped right up. He had this rough laugh. Hey, done talking with your aunt? Can we head to town now? This year's New Year's Eve party is gonna be wild. What? Can Daya crash at my place in town tonight? I already said yes. As he talked, he even licked his lips like a creep. My mom gave me an awkward look, nodded yes, and then made up an excuse to feed the pigs and ran out. Zhang Xianzong was super pumped, mumbling to himself, let's go, let's go. I'll smack you. I was kinda surprised. Zhang Xianzong had always been proud, rarely ever seen so down low. The way he looked at Li Hui had some weird vibe I couldn't quite pin down. Facing Li Hui's intense stare, I said calmly, my mom told me. I'm sorry. Bro Li. We're just not a match. His face fell flat in an instant. I watched him calmly, sizing him up. After a long while, he shook his head and laughed a bit, pulled out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it up, and took a few deep drags. The thick smoke made me cough a couple times. I stepped back a bit grossed out. He crossed his legs and blew smoke rings like nobody else was there. Spill it. How much money do you want? 1,000. 5 grand. 10,000. I was stunned. The second I snapped out of it, my face turned bright red. My whole body was shaking. You what? The boys all know we're dating. They're waiting in town to meet you, the grad student chick. Now you're playing hard to get. You just want money, right? Fine. I've got plenty. Already dropped over 100 grand. What's a little? Just name your price. It's New Year's Eve. Don't keep 'em waiting. Li Hui looked at me impatiently. Zhang Xianzong was sweating bullets. Sis, just go change already. Think of it as a casual stroll. In a flash, I suddenly remembered the text I saw last night. Out of nowhere, I flinched. I'm dating you. Li Hui rolled his eyes, whipped out his phone and started tapping. Stop stalling. 5 grand deal. Alipay received 5,000 yuan. A crisp female voice rang out. I froze. Li Hui froze too. We both turned to look at Zhang Xianzong. The sound came from his phone. Li Hui snapped out of it first. He looked unfazed. Pfft. Didn't peg you as a siscon. Don't sweat it. I don't mind. Throwing cash at my bro-in-law. I'm down for that. But after the wedding, no more of this. Help the family out, sure. But only with my okay. Zhang Xianzong was on the verge of tears. He looked at me pleadingly. Sis, relax. He won't be like this after the wedding. I swear. Mom had somehow slipped back into the living room. She gave me a slight nod, her eyes full of begging. My mind went blank. Everything Zhang Xianzong did. She knew. She knew it all. It's getting late. Let's go. Your outfit looks good too. I don't think you need to change. If not, I'll buy you new ones in town. Mike pulled my arm as we walked out. Mom. I stood still, calling her softly. She wouldn't look at me. Just kept saying go. Have fun. I closed my eyes in pain. When I opened them again, I said to Mike, there's something I think you should know. Bro. My mom's eyes went wide. She yelled sharply. She pulled me into the room, whispering, do you know how scary Mike gets when he flips? Do you want to ruin your brother's life? Mom. This is a scam. Don't you get it? I don't get it. Your brother is young and naive. He has no bad intentions. He just wants to ride motorcycles with those guys. But they won't let him join. He's so stressed he can't eat. That's why I thought of setting you up with Mike. So he'd be Mike's brother-in-law. Has clout. You ungrateful girl. It's all your fault. If you had just added him on WeChat, your brother wouldn't have had to pull this stunt. I'm begging you as your mom. Just mess around with Li Hui for now. You can always dump him later with some excuse. We just gotta get through this for now. Mom. Let me ask you something. If you answer right, I'll go with him. What question? Ask me when we fly. Go ahead. He pushes me. The cold winter wind howls through the hall. Dust flies in the beams of light. What's my name? I ask real soft. But my mom's face goes pale in a flash. Wringing her hands, panicked and lost. Zhao Dai. I shake my head. Stopping her. Not Xiaodi. I changed my name right after the college exam. You even went with me. And told me to use the new name from then on. Hold on. Mom can totally remember. I sent him his allowance every month on time. If he had a backache or cough or anything, I'd wire money right away. Scared he'd hold back cash. And let a small problem turn into something big. On holidays and his birthday, I'd also send money. From 18 to 28. 10 years. 265 transfers. If he had just paid a little attention, he could have seen my name in the transfer details. But he couldn't care less. He couldn't care less. I step out the door. My mom grabs me and won't let go. What's the deal? Stop dragging your feet. Are you done or what? Li Hui gets impatient. I step forward. Snatch Zhang Xianzong's phone. And toss it to Li Hui. The one who was with you for a year. Wasn't me. See for yourself. Zhang Xianzong's face goes white. And he drops to his knees with a thud. My mom clutches her chest. And sinks to the ground all shaky. It's over. It's over. What a curse. Li Hui half an hour later. Joe jumped 3 feet high. Cussing a storm, he went off on my whole family tree. When his fist like a big rock was about to land on Steve's face, my mom couldn't take it anymore. She said, now you gotta hurry. Daya is willing. Joe's face lit up. He stared at me with hopeful eyes. I shook my head, saying no. My mom doesn't speak for me. Joe. I told you before. We're not a good match. I paused for a second. I don't like you that way. He turned red. Then the fist came down hard. Mom. It hurts so bad. Steve let out a pained yell. My mom was crying her heart out. She choked up looking at me. Daya. Are you trying to kill your brother? If something happens to him, I'm done for too. Carrying on. He inched toward the table with his stubby legs. I stood there frozen. I dodged expecting him to keep ramming again. All that crying, shouting and fake suicide drama. Since we were kids, he always pulled that move like a pro. But this time I was dead wrong. With a loud thud, he smashed his head hard. Bright red blood streamed down his forehead. Ma. I panicked. Rushed over to hold him up. He actually was willing to die for Zhang Xianzong. Then what am I to him? What do I even mean? He looked at me weakly. And went silent. But that hurt more than any knife he ever held to my throat. I blinked back the sting in my eyes. Turned to Li Hui. How much did Zhang Xianzong con you out of? Just name the price, man. I'll cover it. But Li Hui just spat on the ground. Yo. Bro, what do you think this is, some cheesy soap opera? You think I'm hurting for cash? As he talked, he kicked Zhang Xianzong again. This little punk totally screwed me over. What about you? You got a thing for me too. Then we're done. Nothing more to say. He changed his tune. How about this? You spend the night with me. And we'll call it. Otherwise I'll wreck this little brat. My mom gently grabbed my hand. The plea in her eyes was real. Zhang Xianzong was yelling, ouch ouch. Sis. I was wrong. Sis. Just me. Li Hui got annoyed and walked out. He turned back and urged me. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and follow. My buddies are waiting in town. I stood up straight. Looking at him calmly. You call the cops. He got furious. Whipped out a knife from his waist. Mess with me. You think my rapper's brother Hui is for nothing. I'll finish this kid right now. He stared at me. Charging at Zhang Xianzong. My mom fell. To block the knife for Zhang Xianzong. Li Hui fell. Because I hit him. I looked at the vase from the hardware store in my hand. Feeling all kinds of emotions. It was supposed to be on the windowsill in the new place, holding a bunch of little daisies. Sirens were blaring outside. Second-floor houses have no privacy. But the upside is nosy neighbors saw something wrong. And called the cops in time. They'd asked 1,000,000 times to buy that lot. If something happened, it'd be bad luck. After the medics took the 3 injured away, there was a loud crash. And the house fell down. I told my mom before. That main beam was all rotted. It needed replacing. She didn't listen. Now look. He banged into it. And the whole house collapsed. Li Hui got 3 years for assault. Zhang Xianzong got 5 years for fraud. When the news came, my mom was refusing to leave the hospital, using her kidney stones to force me to get Zhang Xianzong out. After hearing the news, he passed out. When he came to, he started pointing fingers. It's all your fault. I said we shouldn't come back, but you insisted. Your brother could have done whatever. I found a reason to break up with Li Hui. It wouldn't matter if you came back. It's not like you've never dated before. What's the big deal about hooking up with Li Hui? If you weren't so stubborn, things wouldn't have blown up this big. Look what you've done now. Your dad and our Zhang family are done for. How am I gonna explain this to your dad, your grandpa, your grandma? My life's so messed up. He kept rambling on, full of bitterness, cursing out loud. Why couldn't it be you instead? Even though I was totally crushed, I thought about it, and still had the nerve to ask, Liu Guiji. When I was 10 years old, you went picking berries to make me candied hawthorn, and then you miscarried and hurt yourself over it. Is that true? He was taken aback. With a pout of annoyance. Of course it's true. If I could have had more kids, you'd have spent more cash, still get judged by your mood. Let alone seeing you get your only brother locked up. It's all on you. You've been bad luck since you were a kid. This county hospital's been around for decades. You had surgery here back then, right? What the heck? His face went pale. I quietly peeled an apple. The room was dead silent. Only the sound of peeling skin, seeing the apple peel fall in a circle. I nodded with satisfaction. Nice. Didn't break. I handed him the peeled apple. He caught it without thinking. 7 months. Voluntary termination. I stated flatly without emotion. Then you got pregnant, twice more. Both miscarriages. It's all written clear in the medical records. It wasn't because you hurt your body that you couldn't have kids. If it weren't for this hospital stay, the doctor pulling up your past medical history, I'd never have known. You've been lying to me all these years. Didn't you say you never lie? Wow. First daughter, you. Listen to me. Liu Guiji stammered and cut me off. I didn't pay attention. Kept talking. After getting out of the hospital, I found you a retirement home. You'll stay there from now on. I'll pay the fees on time. That old mud house at home collapsed too. Just so happens we won't need to spend on fixing it. I tried to calm her down. Don't worry. I checked it out. The retirement home is a 4-story building. Clean and bright. You're finally living in an apartment building in this life. She got panicked. First daughter. You can't just abandon me. I only have you left, Mom. I can only count on you. She couldn't stop crying. You can't do this. If you do this, I'll sue you. Yeah. Sue you. You have to take care of me till the end. Oh. Then go ahead and sue. I got up. After walking a few steps, turned my head to remind. Oh yeah. Did you remember my name? The defendant's name is Dalan. Don't write it wrong. She wailed loudly. Zhang Xianzong didn't make it out of prison. He caught pneumonia inside. Left a forward suicide note before dying. Mom. I hate you. Liu Guiji was in a daze after hearing that. Sneaked out of the retirement home one rainy night. A few days later, when the neighbor found her in the ruins of that mud house, she was already dead. The old ladies next door were so mad they had strokes. Liu Guiji, in her own way, really grossed out the neighbors. Figured it was settling a lifetime's worth of grudges. After the funeral, I left at 18. After getting my college acceptance letter, I went and changed my name. Zhang Xiangyang. Zhao Di. What does that mean? It means born to face the sun. Got it. Don't call me Zhao Di anymore. Oh. Okay. Big girl. What should we eat for dinner tonight? Turns out he gave me the answer a long time ago. It just took me 10 years to get it. Good thing it was only 10 years. The end.